Slavery flourishes here on the Niger-Nigeria-Chad border, in a region known as the Triangle of Shame. In this village in Niger, a man named Prince Almo is here to see 25-year-old Hadiatou Mani. Now free, she was sold into slavery at the age of 12 for $250 US.
I worked the fields and cared for my master's first 4 wives. I cooked all the food, did all the laundry, took care of the animals. I was a slave, and my owner called me a slave.
There are tens of thousands of female slaves in Niger. They are called fifth wives because they are bought after men already have 4 wives, legal under Islamic tradition. Many men can and do have more than one so-called fifth wife, a practice that is illegal but not uncommon in this country. Hadiatou wasn't even a teenager when a family friend took her and sold her to a man known as the charlatan.
I was the 7th one. My life was one of misery, of beatings, of inhumane treatment. He hit me with his hands and with shoes made of leather.
Hadiatou was also repeatedly raped and had 2 children. What she didn't know was that in 2003, the Niger government passed an anti-slavery law. Prince Almo, working for a local anti-slavery organization, came and confronted the charlatan, insisting that he release Hadiatou. The charlatan agreed, but never told her. She finally heard the news from her brother months later.
The only way I would ever go back to the charlatan was as a corpse.
Liberated, she married a local farmer, but the charlatan went to the authorities to charge Hadiatou with bigamy. Although 6 months pregnant, a county court threw her in jail for 2 months. Hadiatou's plight caught the attention of 2 international human rights organizations. And in a bold legal move, they approached the highest court in the West African region, charging that the government of Niger had failed to enact its own law forbidding slavery and had not protected Hadiatou. The court heard the case in April 2008. 6 months later, the judge read the verdict.
Hadiatou has been a victim of slavery, and the Niger government is responsible for this.
Hadiatou won and made history. This former slave, bought as a child, had waged a battle whose outcome could now affect hundreds of thousands of women across West Africa.
I'm so happy. All the slave owners who hear this verdict will now be scared.
It is a verdict that sends a clear message, admits Niger's Minister of Regional African Affairs, Saïdou Hachimou.
The court believes that our actions were not sufficient. And it is good that we are told this. We will ensure that such actions are not repeated in Niger.
Senior UN human rights official Craig Mokaiber says this victory is the first step.
Here you have a favorable ruling, you have a government which has accepted that ruling, but there's much more that needs to be done, to be sure. Simply freeing somebody from slavery is not sufficient. Perpetrators have to be held to account. Victims need to be given an opportunity to build a life of dignity in which all of their human rights can be realized.
Today, Hadiatou is back in her village, and she knows she's been given a great reward.
I am pleased. Because of me, other women will get their freedom.
This report was prepared by Andy Gitto and Edith Champagne for the United Nations.